women in arts and philosophy. I would like to say that I was very happy to have this opportunity to join the Whom Arts project. It seems to be a very unique project relating, on the one hand, research and promotion of women in arts, and on the other hand, Simone de Beauvoir studies on women in philosophy and all that is related to this. I've never crossed or come upon a similar project directly relating and connecting the two, and I think this is a major step forward. I'm very glad that it exists, and also very grateful to Sabrina Železnik and Breda Kolar, who is the head of the in Ljubljana not enough appreciated Maribor Art Gallery, but this is going to be changed as well. I think this project is an excellent opportunity to show what you have been already working on for so many years, and how brilliant ideas about bringing new ideas in women's history, in feminist theory, in philosophy and art and everyday life together. Thank you very much for bringing us together, and thank you very much for this opportunity to be able to be part of it. Thank you. A very important question. What is enlightenment, and how are we going to change, on the one hand, the long thinking tradition, and on the other hand, oppression and domination in our everyday lives, in art practices, and in intellectual work in general. And from that point of view, I should perhaps mention that it is extremely important to develop projects and work on the promotion of women in arts, because the situation is similar as in philosophy or in literature or with Simone de Beauvoir. There are so many great women artists creating new ideas about femininity and feminism, and the question of how to make a difference and perhaps even approach the possibility of revolutionary changes. But it seemed to be the case that this invisibility of, or being hidden from history, is present in all fields of creation. And of course, on the other hand, perhaps I should also mention the fact that, and I'm happy about that for women in arts, the situation seemed to be at least a bit better than in relation to women in philosophy. Recently, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I have received an email and information about women in philosophy, encyclopedia of feminist philosophy and women in philosophy, and I was actually amazed by the fact that all around the world nowadays, in most of the university and departments of philosophy, there seem to be the representation of women and female philosophers is still very low. It's if I remember well, it was nowhere more than 25%, which is something similar as the representation of women in the parliament, for instance, in our country nowadays. But we know that there are countries with much better representation of women in the parliament for quite some years now, for instance, in Northern European countries and so on. But in philosophy, we still have to develop new ideas and tactics and strategies, and to fight for, achieving at least as, how should I say, a situation of, this seems to be perhaps too simplifying, but I would really like to have more women around in feminist, and not in feminist in in philosophy circles and in, you know, conferences, not on female philosophy, but philosophy and such. The second sex is also a compendium of all the different variations of the feminine situation and all the possibilities and all the lost possibilities and missing female figures and female creations and new practices. Yes, what you mentioned, this is very important, that we don't, in feminism, we don't put into forward just this negative side of being dominated and excluded and, you know, all that is related to it. But I really like to look at feminism as a very positive and, in that sense, positivistic and joyful project, because we have to celebrate the new possibilities we are finding and developing, and the very fact that we have a wonderful thinking tradition, and we have this feminist tradition which is part of the Enlightenment tradition, and the question of what is enlightenment and the answer which is related to it from the Enlightenment time related to Kant and the broader context. And the answer was at that time sapere aude, which is we have to have courage to know. And I think we have to have courage to be women, to be feminists, and to, in a way, decide. Each of us has to make a personal decision to participate in our collective project of the Enlightenment.